Former Real Madrid player Jesus Vallejo had an interview with Guillermo Rai, and well, after 10 years with Real Madrid, the defender talks for the first time about Zidane, Cristiano, the Man City comeback, mental health, and starting over. And well, this is everything he said. First and foremost, know that Jesus Vallejo recently joined Albacete, and a huge crowd gathered to watch his announcement and chant his name. But anyways, this is what he said. Jesus Vallejo and his best teammate at Real Madrid, without a doubt Carvajal. He's a guy who has helped me a lot since I arrived. Now, this last year, I have also been very close to him. He is a guy who is going to be captain without any doubt. He is a natural captain. He has innate leadership. Then he reveals the story of giving the number 5 to Jude Bellingham. I remember they signed Jude, and the club told me that Jude liked the number 5 that had belonged to Zidane. I didn't need anything else. I told him of course I would be delighted to give him the number 5. A minute later, Jude sent me a long message in English in private that was very emotional. Then in person during the preseason, he thanked me a lot. He's a guy who looks like he's much older than his ID card. He has a very good mentality. I was delighted to give him the number before meeting him, and even more so after I got to know him. Now with that being said, if you're enjoying the video so far, just like the video so I know. And also if you want to stay updated with Real Madrid news, just follow. He also talked about the leader of Real Madrid's new generation. Fede Valverde is a leader, a competitor who is very shy in the dressing room, but who changes completely on the pitch. He's a guy who wants to play everything. He's a guy who's contagious. He's a guy who goes the furthest distance for the team. The guy who wants the least amount of recovery days to be on the field training. I think he's going to pull the card of the Real Madrid team for many years to come. And then he said this on not being used by Ancelotti during the injury crisis. I left with the feeling that it is a pity that the season is over now. I remember players who were exhausted, and I was physically fresh. It makes you feel angry to say, oh, I wish I could have come in earlier. I wish I could have played more games. And he said this about social media. If I paid too much attention to that emotional roller coaster social media, I was probably going to have a bad time. So I stayed neutral. Then I tried to have a good relationship with the press in the stadiums, and the different opportunities to speak, like the mix zone. I've enjoyed that more than social media. Sometimes I see social media as dangerous for youth society because a lot of people believe everything that is said on there, and they spend a lot of hours a day on it. Too much for what I think is healthy. And he opens up on the mental health side of football. I remember in Madrid working with a psychologist, and also at an earlier stage. I think it has been very good for me. I think it's good, from my experience, that it's on an individual basis. I don't know if it's the coach himself or a figure from the club who focuses on sports psychology, but it's important that you have the energy to go out and train in the morning when you get up, that you enjoy what you do. It has given me strength precisely to know what things I like to do. What I have discovered is that I like the sport, football itself, the game, the association with teammates. That's why despite not playing, I've been able to manage it well because I've been focused on other things. Everyone has to discover where they are good at, where they feel comfortable in order to develop, but you don't discover that in a moment. I've been discovering through injuries, bad moments, having a hard time, not enjoying training. Luckily, I've discovered that I do like this world of football, but in my own way. Now he said this about the historic match against Manchester City. It was all very quick. I remember warming up on the touchline against City. They told me to go out and play and be forceful in the duels. Then in the dressing room, I remember the party, the people going crazy. I played better games, but that was the most decisive one. You could see that to a greater or lesser extent we were all important. From the outside, I understand the spectator who was surprised that I hadn't played for a long time and suddenly I performed that day. Look, even though it seems like a joke, I was thinking that in every game I could really play. I think that's what made me play well, because if I'm disconnected, it's impossible. Sometimes it's inexplicable even for those of us who were in the team. You could see that the opposition were sometimes superior tactically, in terms of chances, but there was a mixture of things. That Courtois was spectacular that year, that the team always believed, that they were very united, and that the opponents fell apart with a goal. And lastly, this is what he said about Cristiano Ronaldo leaving. It was hard enough with Cristiano's departure because of the goals. There has been a big void that has taken time to replace. He was a leader not on the pitch but also off the pitch. In fact, I have tried to copy some of his routines on a day-to-day basis. He would arrive at the dressing room beforehand, but before training, he didn't do much physical work. Afterwards at home, he would do more strength work, but he prioritized the work on the pitch before. He knew when to push and when not to push. In that sense, he was very professional. And well, with that being said, let me know what you guys think.